Okay, so here we go. Mark Lewis Wagner and Drawing on Earth. And we're beginning a whole new world here of art and creativity. So what I thought I would show you our studio, our art studio. So I thought I'd give us a little virtual tour of what's happening here. We've got a big open space here. There's an old kiln. There's lots of sculpture projects that have happened here over time. This is Tim. We've got lots of bones, which I'll do a whole piece on drawing and bones and things. There's all these sculptures back here that are sitting around. One of my studio mates, Clayton Thiel's work, and BJ's. We'll go into this building later on sometime. There's a lot of welding that's happening in here. You can hear the BART because this is the San Francisco Bay Area. This is a studio in East Oakland. And it is March 18th. And the coronavirus has all us in stay at home or stay at the studio. So this is Clayton Thiel's work. We'll be looking at this work some more and talking to him. And he and I both teach at Chabot College. And so one of the purposes of these videos is for my students, but we're also doing something for the world. So let's go inside and see what's happening here. Studio. So it's full of stuff. I'll talk about some of the stuff over time. This is where I'm going to be filming the lessons. And here's my whole space. I got a great studio. It's a great studio. So I'll talk about some of this stuff too over time. This is Clayton's space. He's not here at the moment. Here's his studio. So he'll be talking about some stuff here and there. So, all right. So if this is still the beginning of things, here's some things that I'm going to cover over time, and some materials and mediums and things like that. So materials are things to be thinking about are certainly pens and pencils. I'll go over all this stuff later. Sketchbooks. Sketchbooks is a huge thing. Highly I'll do a lot of sketchbook work in here. This is the place to put everything. You know, the place to be alive. We're going to do a project on medicine cards, which is awesome. Paints. I have a whole pile of paints. You know, paints are like, again, I'll be talking all about what paint is. Mostly this is acrylics. We'll get into oils. You know, I really break everything down in small pieces and short videos. Chalk. You know, I've done a project with chalk, which I'll talk about. I have a Guinness World Record for the world's largest chalk drawing. And it's right here if you haven't ever seen a Guinness World Record. So I've worked with 30,000 kids, and how many pieces of chalk did I think we bought? So chalk, journals, that's a written journal, materials like hot glue guns or Conte crayons and charcoal. We're doing, you know, blue tape is a pretty mandatory thing. Making stencils of things to replicate, so bird stencils. Boards, I do a lot of work on boards. These are Home Depot pieces. I'll be talking about what to work on, boards and paper, and so other tools are, you know, just tool stuff. We're talking about cameras. Got a, you know, screwdrivers. Got a Mavic Air, so different GoPros. So we've got cameras, computers. The program I'm going to be working on and learning and talking about is Adobe Premiere with all of this work. So one of the arcs in the painting world is going to be, we start off with a black and white. I'll be jumping around in how I'm teaching because I've got college kids to get up and running. But we start off with black and white, even collage before that. Some warm-up games that I don't even have listed. The warm-up games are great, where we actually are drawing and screaming. Then after black and white goes values, right? There's a gradation. This is the piece that's being worked on by a student. Another value piece, and you can see the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, if my student was here, I'd say you're missing about 1 or 2 in here, so add them. See how that step's too much right there? You need to be able to see that. Actually, I can see now there's more over here. That's cute. From there we go to monochromatic work, which is 1 color with monochromatic. Then we get into primaries. We move into 3 colors. We'll have a whole class on primaries. Then, you know, different games, imaginary things, taking people on journeys, making paintings for the world, like getting into narrative and imagery. It's a piece, a student of mine, she's still working on this piece. Get into starting to work on dimensions. We use the elephant a lot, which is great. Then moving into 3D dimensions. How do you make a sphere? How do you make something that looks dimensional? There's some of the dimensional pieces. And then over here I've got some digital stuff. So the digital stuff is, this is some of my chalk drawing stuff that we've done, right? So the digital stuff is Photoshop. So Photoshop, I teach Photoshop. I'll have a whole bunch of essays or pieces and little how-tos on Photoshop. This is all the Adobe suites. And then a little bit on music. So music is Logic, and it starts off, this is how Logic is written. And the way that I compose is I compose geometrically. I compose in how these shapes are, because I can read some music, but it's too complicated. And so to be able to visually see something is just great. So that's it. Stay tuned. Big love. All that stuff. Watch where your mind goes. Breathe. Feel your feet wiggling in your shoes. And here we go.